Come get your money. Pay Lake Carp Fishing with Donald Barrow. Hey, Donald Barrow here. Hey, what could go wrong? I thought. Uh, let's change out my line like I always do, but do it for the camera. That'd be great, you know. So I got out my cordless drill. This is uh, this is just fun. I have a couple of years with a line wrapped around the uh, a big old drill bit, and I take off my line in no time. Got a little brace it down on a broken rod that I use, and you know, and I don't know why I thought I could show this and it'd be interesting as a video. Probably not a great idea, but I did it anyways. Uh, it's going to become B-roll because essentially all I did is uh, drop the drill. I have line I'm planned on spooling on, and it was on the table, and then it ended up caught up. The reel caught up, pulled off, and went a flying, and tipped over, and it caught the spool. And when I was taking offline, I was also taking offline on my line spool of new line, you know. So it ended up a big mess. It'll end up B-roll uh, if I can edit. Like that term B-roll, huh? I had no idea what that was. And start fresh. I've got 5 reels, and uh, I'm gonna give them an attitude adjustment with new lines. And you know, bottom line, I don't know if this is often. That said, I was really worried about when I got the Rockets and the new Envy reel uh, that I wanted to be very careful. I took the Envy apart right away, kind of detailed it in a post, and put it back gingerly. I never was so careful taking apart a reel and putting it back, afraid that I'd lose something. And it's worked great. When my buddy, who's an expert at reel repair, took them apart, he told me none of my reels really needed much because if you have a decent quality reel like these Envies or the Rockets, Abu Garcia Rockets, um, treat them halfway decent. There's not a lot you have to do. But I plan on upgrading this with some parts that are coming out. And I was just, hey, we'll wait. Uh, but then I had this oil and I had the line off and I was like, hey, this will be a great video. Let's screw around with one just to show what we're going to do. And so I started, and the first thing I like to do is clean the worm gear. I don't know what you call the worm bar. Just the grooved bar and clean it, and use a little Q-tip. I've done this before, and clean off all any lube that's on there. Well, I wasn't paying attention, and next thing you know, the Q-tip just came apart and wrapped around that bar, and I pulled it all out, and I got tweezers and pulled it all out, and I could still feel it. And even though I think I got it all out, I was like, couldn't stand it. So next thing you know, the reel comes apart, and I'm taking it all apart, and I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I was going to do something for the camera, and don't got time. I'm nervous. I got to get this fixed. So I tore it all apart, took off the handle. One of the little handle screws went flying, and there went 30 minutes trying to find it. Uh, I got the bar out and cleaned that and lubed it, and uh, started lubing the gears inside the bearings, and not really the gears, they were fine. This reel was fine. It didn't need any of the stuff I was doing, but I did it anyways. and and I put it back together, and it went back together fairly simple. Then I couldn't find the handle, and I had had a new custom handle, and somehow it slipped down between inside my desk and was lost the time I needed it, and I was mad. So I had the old handle just sitting above the desk, and I put that on, and the new handle, that gold handle, really looked trick, and it felt pretty good. I got used to it, but the old handle had these big uh, uh, foam paddle arms, and they I loved them, and so I threw this on, and then of course I found the gold handle, and I was like, I got it spinning right. I can almost, well, it's better than when I started, and I was like, for a lot of hassle, we're done here. You know, I have a little casting little dummy I'm going to put on the casting weight that I'm going to put on my rods in a few minutes and cast them all and make sure when I go to the lake that no surprises, everything's going to cast the way they normally do, and hitting the rope will be no problem. Tomorrow I'll start on a couple buckets of oats, two or three, and I made a bet that I could fish just one bait with my buddy because this year it's been multiple baits. And be honest, it's been fun. It's not really me. Um, this year, last year, or in years past, I would throw rice and maybe some bean, But uh, this year, like I said, I've made the commitment to expand what I do and test new things, and I'm perfectly happy with that. Um, you find things, and I think I've said this in write-ups. I don't know if I said on video. My goal is simply when I go into the weekend, sure, I want to catch fish, sure, I want to win, and I try like hell to do so, but it's not the main goal. The main goal is to test. And why do I test? One, it helps out uh, my sponsors, Wicked, sorry, I keep saying Wickeded, Wickeded in their flavors. They put out a lot of flavors, and I'm not the ultimate authority. I mean, what doesn't work for me could work at another lake, at another day, at another time. But I'm just one of many testers for flavors, and I enjoy doing it. And Thomas Bailey sends me hooks to test, and I got to tell you, those hooks are amazing. I'm happy with his hooks. I bought some of his hooks because I like them so much. The Oinker twos, and he sent other hooks to test, and I gotta find time to test them because the one thing I don't do is throw out a good hook to put on another hook. I do, and then I put them into a little pile, and I call them fun fishing hooks. But when I go fun fishing, I usually, I don't go out and change my hooks. I just throw what's on my rods and call it fun fishing. You lose a 20 pounder, whether you're in a tournament or fun fishing, it makes you mad. So even when you go fun fishing, I get like, I'm going to fish my regular way, test my regular bait. I don't have fun fishing stuff. Probably about the only change I will make is, um, and this is how motivated I am. If I'm fun fishing by myself, by all means, I fish a single hook because it's happened. You'll hook a fish, bring it in. If you fish two hooks, 90% of the time, the trailing free hook, gets caught in the net. And then you gotta be careful because everybody who fishes two hooks most likely has caught a hook, and it's not a fun day. So you end up, getting the hooks out, messing around, and ultimately you'll be getting another run. And it becomes, a mess where you have a single hook. You catch the fish, You throw him out of the net, you know, one hook and he's back in the water. So it's a much simpler experience. So if you do fishing, alone, by all means, just a single hook. Don't be silly. Uh, that's, I think, it. We're gonna make some oats. I'm gonna try my editing skills. Hopefully later in the week I'll have a different microphone, and we'll see. Thank you guys if you're watching. Like and subscribe. And support my sponsors. I didn't say anything about pig flippers, and I meant to. A lot of guys say, well, why don't you make a video on how to make pickups? And I say, why? I can't make them as good as Dustin Dauch makes them. And that's just the honest truth. Um, do I make pickups? Yeah, every once in a while. Well, I'm testing a lot of new flavors, and sometimes I like to match that flavor. So yeah, I'll make some pickups. But 9 times out of 10, I'll just grab, and your pickup doesn't have to match your flavor. I've thrown strawberry and pineapple banana pickups. Um, it's just, for me, it's a starting point. It's something to try. It's a new flavor profile that I'm putting out in the water. But, you know, again, uh, it's one hassle that I don't have to deal with a lot is making pickups before I go fishing. The other thing is Dustin's stuff. Turns out, even though it may be seem pricey for pickups, you can use them forever. I mean, I have pickups that I was using that were 2 years old, and if you reseal the bag that he puts them in, uh, they really last. They were fine, caught fish. So you buy a bag of his pickups. There's a ton in them, and you use them for a year. Where I'll make some kicks, or I'll make some puffs or pops, and in a couple of weeks they're rock hard. They don't, you got to add flavor to them. It's just not the quality you get out of a bag from a guy who makes pickups. And so I highly recommend using them. This, others may disagree, but it, I can't make better. So, and it's too small of expense when you look at paying $150 a night to fish, not to buy a $6, $7 bag of pickups. Uh, I, I buy a couple so that I can switch around. You know, it's amazing how I know I talk about changing bait and taking a bunch of bait. That's kind of what I do, is because I like to test. But the reality, and I've proved it a lot of times, is change your pickups first. Uh, it's easy to change, and it's usually that's what will turn the fish to biting, will be the pickup. It's not the bait. It can be. I'm not saying it can't be, but just as likely they want a different pickup. They want something sweet. They want something hot. And if you are ordering pickups, make sure you cover you have one that's hot and you have one that's sweet. You know, an extra hot, a regular hot, and a basic sweet pickup like I said, pineapple butternut or something like that. Um, then you're covered. Yeah, I take a strawberry and a grape. Uh, so that's like 6 pickups if you go basic, hot, and extra hot. But um, you know, if you know the lake that you're fishing, and strawberry's it, give them strawberry. But even though strawberry's it, plenty of times great pickups into your strawberry pile, or butternut pickups, or you name it. Um, peach is a hot flavor for pickups. You can't go wrong. So give them a try. Uh, thank you.